What up, you guys? So, if you ever been told, right? Let's say you spazzed out on somebody, and then you apologize. You be like, "Yo, my bad. I'm bipolar. I'm this, whatever it is." Right? When people be like, "Yo, I don't care what you have. There's no excuse." Here's the reason why people would say that, right? Like, people won't care what you have when they're being affected by what you have. When they be like, "Yo, I don't care. That's no excuse," is because they feel like they're being emotionally drained by you being you, right? And people just don't, you know what I'm saying? Like you ever seen somebody, they spaz out on somebody, right? They be like, "What's up, Chris?" One person spaz out on another person, they be like, "Yo, my bad, I'm going through stuff, I'm having a bad day," and then they'll check that person and be like, "Yo, I don't care what you're going through, man. There's no excuse to disrespect me, no excuse to do this, no excuse to do that." Once people are being emotionally affected and it burdens them, they might be hesitant to care. You know what I mean? Because most people are alive for themselves. They're alive for things to go the way they think it should be going. As soon as their standard is violated, it doesn't matter what you're. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I fell into that category. You know what I'm saying? There's been times where people who they tell me that, "Yo, I'm feeling suicidal," like, you know what I mean? And then I felt like they was just throwing their problems at me and saying like, "Yo, you should you know what I mean, to be more graceful or be more accepting, be more calm." You know what I'm saying? And when I was in the middle of that, I'll give you another example, right? There was a time when I lived with a roommate, and he was going through some stuff, right? And he was feeling suicidal. And I remember at the time I didn't care. You know what I mean? At the time I didn't care because like I was being affected by the way he was being. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't. My bad, phone's dying. I didn't care. I had such little concern. You know what I mean? That I knew what he was going through, and when this dude would come home from work, I would go into my room 5 minutes before he came home because I didn't want to be around him. I only left my room when I wanted to pee or if I had to eat something. You know what I mean? This is how much I was being consumed by this person. And now I realize, yo, what the hell, what was wrong with me? Now it's not like I'm not thinking what was wrong with other people. It's like, yo, what's wrong with me, man? I can't let people get to me so much that I start having thoughts like whether you die or not right now, like whatever. Like that's not me. You know what I'm saying? That's not me at all. And I realize the more I get consumed by other people, the more I won't be emotionally like available for those that might need something. You know what I'm saying? Like I was talking to somebody today and he was crying and he was like, "Yo, man, like my friends are leaving me. My friends are doing this. You know what I mean? How come nobody's loyal? How come nobody wants to be my friend?" And there was a time when he was acting a funny like type of way. I tried to check him on it, not because I like correcting people's behavior, but I wanted to tell him, "Bro, you have qualities that if you keep having them, like people are gonna leave, man." I know the type of stuff people don't want to put up with, like on a general scale, like all human beings. Like nobody really likes being controlled. Nobody really likes feeling like their free will is not respected. You know what I mean? This is why when I talk to friends, if I give advice and they decide to go the other direction, there's no friction. I'm not mad. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not about me giving you advice and you absolutely have. Who am I to say that you have to listen to me? Like you do your thing. You know what I'm saying? I understand that the human brain, like the way people are, it might take them a while to become a different person, to change an old habit that's killing them. Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy when people get quote unquote saved. You know what I mean? They start listening to the gospel, they give their life to Jesus, and then they put so much pressure on other people that they have to absolutely convert right away. It's like, bro, you know that it was a process for you. You know what I'm saying? You know that you ain't give a shit about God for like 25 years, and then when you talk to other people, you think that they're going to make that conversion right away. You know what I'm saying? Or they should do it in under 6 months or in under 2 weeks or whenever you deliver the message. You know what I'm saying? People try to plant a seed, water it, and then force it to come out of the ground. You know what I mean? So what's up, Kelvin? So yeah, man, if you ever been like, I don't know what you guys have, you know what I'm saying, in terms of your doctor diagnosing you, but if you ever had like some type of mental illness, right? And then people tell you, "I don't give a damn what you have," right? There's no excuse to act a certain way. It's because they're getting consumed by whatever your behavior is. A lot of people, they don't know how to look at things past what annoys them. You know what I mean? Like, this is why when we judge each other, we judge each other for face value. And even though there's so much tremendous potential inside of every human being, I believe that the worst of the worst people weren't created to be such assholes. You know what I mean? Like they have greatness in them. They might not know that though. It's the only reason somebody would live a life less than, you know what I mean? Like there's so many people that's not on the path that they were supposed to be on. And because I know that, that's why I don't take people's attitudes personal. You know what I'm saying? And the way this person was talking to me this morning, he was kind of like, yo, you're one of the only people that hasn't given up on me. You know what I mean? I'm like, bro, because I know you have potential, man. I know God loves you. Why would I give up on anybody? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that no, regardless of how you act. And here's the scary thing about life, yo. When you start looking at other people's happiness, you start looking at what you don't have. You start looking at when you look at another man's happiness, and you be like, oh, that can never be me. Or you look at somebody else's bank account, and you be like, oh, that could never be me. You know what I'm saying? Or you look at something you want, but you feel like you keep telling yourself you can't have it. Yo, you'll never have it. That's why it's so scary, right? When we do go to doctors and they do diagnose us and they tell us that we're clinically depressed and they tell us here's the pill that's gonna fucking cure it. Yo, people need more than a pill, man. They need a fucking mindset that helps them overcome. You know what I'm saying? Because once you have a mindset that helps you overcome, like for real, you'll be okay. You know what helps me overcome? Like, I just have a mindset that when I start going through shit, it's gonna be like, there's a scripture in the Bible in the book of James. It says, count it all joy, my brothers, when you're met with trials and when you're met with difficulties, you know, of different variations, because you know that through these trials, you're going to be grounded in patience, and through the patience, you're going to grow in steadfastness, and having steadfastness, you're going to be perfect, lacking in nothing. So it literally says, get excited when you have problems. I know that shit sounds twisted because like usually we run away from problems, but the shit that we don't want to go through, there's something amazing in that place when we go in there alone and get transformed by the things that we rather not go through and become the fucking people that we were created to be. It takes adversity to shape you into who you were meant to be. You know what I mean? And so I felt really bad. Like, you know, I was listening to this dude and he was like, yo, man, like no one wants to be here. No one wants to be around me. I'm like, bro, like, listen, your purpose in life, it transcends beyond people being loyal to you. It's way deeper than who doesn't want to be there for you or be a part of your life. Like, you're not here to have people be loyal to you. You're not here for people to like you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're here to fulfill a mission before you die. And the day that becomes the focus above what people are not doing, that will be the day that you won't be so consumed by what's going on around you. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, give me a second. What's up, Ariana? What's up, Sean? So I was telling him, I was like, bro, you know, what are your goals? You know what I mean? I was like, for me, right? And I have no idea how I want to do this. But before I die, I want to reach 100 million people. That's one of my goals. My goal is so damn big that I don't have time to have problems with you. I don't have time to check somebody because I sent them a text message and it's been 8 hours and they still haven't replied. Like, making time for petty shit is what we do when we don't have goals that are beyond us, goals that you have to become more of a better person to even achieve that goal because it's so ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you have a goal that's so damn big, I promise you, yo, you don't have time to like get sad who doesn't like you and who's not faithful and who's not loyal and who doesn't believe in your dream. Like, this is the shit we make time for when our goals are not really huge. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just a lack of goals. You know what I mean? I know sometimes people behave a certain way. We just want to judge how they are, but you know, there's a reason somebody would entertain themselves on Netflix 10 hours a day and play Fortnite 16 hours a day. Bro, people don't have no fucking goals anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they live a life that they want to escape from, right? They live a life that they want to escape from because they don't enjoy the life that they live. So life becomes escapism. You know what I mean? And I understand like everyone needs a form of escapism. You know, everyone needs a form of entertainment because it can't just be work, work, work and fulfill your purpose like your whole life without having some leisure time and like hanging out. And I get that other stuff is important, but you know, when you create a life that you want to escape from and you spend 27 years escaping, this is why no one's facing what's wrong with them. No one wants to dig into the bag of shit that is their personality and sort that shit out and become who they could be. You know what I mean? Like, no one wants to do that. That process it is hard. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to look at yourself and realize you have undesirable qualities that you need to get rid of, because if you don't, it's going to cost you your family, your friends, and everyone who likes you currently, who's probably going to give up on you if you don't change. Or, you know what I'm saying? And that's what's amazing about God. For those of you that know God and believe in God, you know that you were some messed up people, but he still You know why God stayed there for the people that were still messed up? Because he sees beyond that. He sees you for what he created you for. And that's the only thing he gives himself permission to see you as. It's the only reason that he has so much patience, so much grace, is because he knows that if you're an asshole, he didn't create you to be that. You know what I'm saying? He knows if you're living a life less than, he didn't create you to be mediocre. He didn't create you to be evil. He didn't create you. So the purpose of God's grace is not to empower you to keep being out of your mind and crazy. It's because, like, you know, as he gives you chance after chance after chance, maybe eventually it'll click and he's going to send messengers your way. He's going to send people to tell you, you know what I'm saying, what's possible. And, you know, we only have two choices. We're going to reject the messages we hear, and we're going to hold on to our story. You know what I'm saying? You know why people hold, I used to wonder, yo, why do people hold on to their story? Like, people have a miserable last 20 years of their last life, and they keep repeating the story. And, you know, but I realized, yo, that's the only form of identity that a lot of people have. They believe that they are what they've been through. Yo, you're not what you've been through. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are what you could be if you embrace your potential. Your full potential, that's you. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of us are playing these character roles, you know what I'm saying? Like, that are outside of what we're supposed to be doing, you know? And the reason we never find out who we are is because a lot of our time is occupied dwelling, like, you know, getting mad that people spread rumors, getting mad that people act a certain way. Nobody loves me. Nobody's doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, and becoming the best version of yourself in that place, you benefit so many other people. You know what I mean? Like, when I was talking to this dude, he was like, yo, I want to be more like you, man. Like, you seem to, like, help everybody you're around. You know, anybody I'm around, like, shit falls apart around other people's lives. And then maybe that's why they don't want to be around. Nobody likes me. And it's like, yo, bro, don't beat yourself up, man. Like, there's stuff that you don't understand at the moment. Doesn't make you retarded. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some stuff that you got to learn. You know what I mean? But don't feel like so terrible about it. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, yo, bro, look, listen, like, there's a reason why your windshield is significantly bigger than your rear view mirror. It's because where you're going, it matters so much more than where you've been. You know what I mean? People romanticize the past. They're so obsessed with, oh, well, you don't know what it's like being 9 years old, or you don't know what it's like being 12 and being bullied and being hung upside down over a trash can for your lunch money, or you don't know what it's like to be shoved in a locker, or this and that. And then we try to get everybody to sympathize towards our story that we're not proud to tell, and tell people that if they felt and endured the same thing, then they would understand how we feel. You know what I mean? And if you don't like your last 20 years and you don't like telling that story, like, why would you try to get everybody to understand that shit? You don't even like telling that story. You don't even like understanding it. Like, you don't like where you are and you want to be a better person, but you keep telling a story and trying to have everyone else to have sympathy towards you. And the more sympathy you get, the more you're being empowered to be a weak ass fucking person, man. Like, you wasn't created to be weak. Like, for those of you listening, every time somebody makes a comment that makes you cry and you come to the conclusion, well, I'm just a sensitive person and I was created to be that way. How do you know what the hell you were created to be? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I used to be sensitive as hell, man. Like, there was a time some girl didn't wish me a happy birthday and that shit had the power to make me cry. And then I was like, yo, what the hell is wrong with me, man? I know I wasn't created to be this damn weak. You know what I mean? But if I would have settled, here's the scary thing about life. If I would have settled there and I would have came to the conclusion that this is just my identity, I would have embraced an identity that I wasn't meant to embrace, because I think it's who I am. And it's a million miles away from who I was meant to be. You know what I'm saying? That's the scary thing about life. You don't know what you're embracing. You don't know that your personality type right now has nothing to do with who you're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? If only you draw near to God, if only you had a relationship, you know what I'm saying, with God and stuff. And some people are like, man, like, how come some others are so damn positive? Like, I wish I could be positive. I wish I could not complain. I could not dwell. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me a second. Yo, the difference between a positive person and a person that's negative all the time, there's only one difference: what you focus your mind on. You know what I mean? Because the negative person only sees negativity. Like, you and I, we all have, well, not the same Facebook news feed, but as we scroll through it, I'm sure you and I both see stupidity on Facebook. The difference between you and me, if you get consumed by it, is I know that if I respond to bullshit, then what does that make me? A bullshit ass person. Like, why would I respond to something that's stupid? If I'm a smart person, I'm not out here responding to everything that's dumb. You know what I mean? Like, how is that a good use of my time? You know, and that doesn't make me better than you if you get consumed by negativity. It just means that we think differently. Our focus is differently. Like, if I'm scrolling through Facebook, I'm looking for the shit that edifies me, the shit that encourages me, the shit that after I read it, I become a better person. And then, you know, I could equip it into my arsenal of like the things that are going to make me better, whatever those things are. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for encouragement. I'm looking for it to be uplifted, or, you know what I'm saying? Or if someone's like having a bad day, hopefully maybe I could say something that alleviates some of the pain. Like, these are the things I'm looking for. So you see how my focus is different? That's why if somebody posts something on Facebook that's retarded, I don't even have time to tell people that they don't have the right to say what they just said. Like, how is it my business, somebody else's opinion? You know, we try to check people's mindset on Facebook. We don't even know half the people we're engaging with a lot of the times. Like, you know, and then we wonder why our advice to them is met with so much resistance, because they look at us like, yo, who the hell are you, man? Like, you act like you're my mother, you're my dad. Like, what do you have that would compel me to want to listen to you? I know the psychology of what would make a person not listen. This is why I want admiration. You know what I'm saying? Like, not because I'm insecure as hell and I desperately need people to like me, because I know once I get your admiration, if I have something valuable to say, because you like me, now you're listening to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the people I listened to growing up, they don't even realize the reason I didn't listen to them. I didn't fucking like them, yo. We don't listen to people we don't like. You know what I mean? You don't listen. Like, if somebody right now that you hate starts giving you advice, you're gonna be like, what do you know, fucking bozo? Like, why are you trying to talk to me? Like, you know, because you don't like the person. You're wondering why the hell are you there in your face trying to correct you when you don't even feel like they love you. You know what I'm saying? We always try to correct somebody's behavior when we don't even love the people we're correcting. Like, the people we're correcting, if they live or pass away right now, we don't give a damn. And the people that we're correcting feel that. They know that. That's why they don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of religious people, like, walk around quoting Bible scripture as if that changes anybody's fucking life, man. Like, what does your quoting do? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're more interested in quoting Bible scriptures than we are in loving the people that we're quoting it to. You know what I'm saying? And the only reason we're quoting it is because other people's behavior frustrates us and we feel like we have to check somebody instead of, yo, I feel like the best thing for me to do when I meet people is to build rapport, build some type of trust, like build some type of relationship, friendship. You know what I'm saying? After some time, once that relationship, friendship has value, now I believe that God will take my words directly into your heart, because maybe I'm somebody you respect. Maybe you have no emotional stability and you always wish you had it. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to listen to me and you're going to be like, yo, well, Rob knows what he's talking about. Like, you know what I mean? And I admire his position in life. Maybe he's qualified to have that conversation with me. Because one thing I know, right? If I give you advice, if you believe I'm not qualified to be giving that advice, that alone might be the reason you never listen to me, because you don't think I'm fucking qualified to have that conversation with you. But when you look at me and you be like, yo, let's look at this dude's marriage. It's successful. Let's look at his life. He's successful there. His bank account balance, he's successful there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've had some miserable ass people try to give me advice, and it's like, yo, bro, fix your shit before you come to me. You know what I mean? Like, so this is why I know, like, nobody's going to take my advice unless they admire me, unless they look up to me. So that's why admiration is important to me, because once I get that, now I could say the words that potentially just might change your life if you decide to listen. You know what I'm saying? And if people don't listen, I can't take that personal, because it's not about me. You know what I'm saying? People have been indoctrinated into a way of thinking. If I meet a messed up person, them being messed up has nothing to do with me. If they act foul, that has nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are going through stuff that make them it makes them act the way that they do. You know what I mean? And I know it has nothing to do with me. That's why it's never personal. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, man. And, you know, it's unfortunate that people don't care. I get that, you know, but if you ever start dwelling there, for you to think that something's sad, you might be like, oh, well, that's sad that society's like that. It's sad that humanity, it's impossible to consider something sad unless you're dwelling on how you wish it would change. And the reason you wish it would change is because it's an inconvenience to you that other people act that way. And the reason that it's an inconvenience to you that other people act that way is because you have not yet learned how to overcome the mean comments on YouTube, the mean comments on Instagram, people telling you to go kill yourself. People, you know what makes my mindset so damn powerful is because if you say something irrelevant, That's it. Once I consider it irrelevant, it means nothing. Your words don't even have the power to mean something to me unless I say that it means something. That's why if someone comes at me crazy, I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, your words mean nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Because, like, the only thing I'm listening for is value. I'm not listening to be offended. That's why I'm never offended whenever listening. You get it? Like, I'm never offended while listening because I don't listen for that. People listen to be offended. That's why when you write a paragraph to somebody, they only read the part that like pissed them off, and that becomes all that they respond to. Like, you might have said a lot of positive shit, right? You might have said something that could have uplifted their day, but they're reading it for the part that pisses them off, the part that, well, you don't understand my story and you're being insensitive to me here and you're doing that over. Like, that's what I don't listen for that. I listen for, what did you say that was worth my time listening to, right? Value. That's it. And I know how to filter shit out. People think that they can't filter things out. Yes, you can, man. We do it all the time. We remember what we want to remember. We hear what we want to hear. We're always filtering out stuff. Why is it that, I meet people that sometimes I'll send them like an 8-minute video, right? And they can't consume the video because like maybe the speaker, he cursed one too many times and they're so bothered by a curse word. And I get the different stuff bothers different people, but I'm like, yo, man, like, there was so much value in the video, you know what I mean? But they wasn't listening for value. They was listening for, damn, this dude cursed 27 times. Therefore, I cannot consume this content because it has too many curse words, you know what I mean? And it's just like, damn, like, so I only listen for value. That's why my life is blessed, man. Like, because I'm only going to hear the things that are worth my time hearing. Like, I'm not listening for, I don't like this person's tonality, or how we get so caught up in how somebody's delivering the message instead of listening to what's being said. And let me prove to you that people don't care about what's actually being said. Like, you ever heard that, you ever heard that phrase where people they be like, yo, it's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. That's proof, and millions of people agree with that. That should be proof to you that people don't give a damn what's being said. It's about how it's being said. And that's crazy because you would think that what's being said matters so much more than how it's being said. And while people get caught up in other people's tonality and how it's being said, they completely fucking miss the point of what's being said. And then miscommunication happens left and right constantly because it's not about what's being said. It's about how it's being said. I understand that, right? Like, so that's why when it comes to tonality, I've learned some things about tonality. I've learned when you convey a message a certain way, it might be received if you convey certain emotions while delivering that message. You know what I mean? Like, but instead of me dwelling on how sad that is, I'm willing to adapt. I'm willing to adjust. Some people, they try to give the gospel to other people and they be like, oh, well, if you don't hear it, that's your damn fault. And I tell people, yo, people won't listen to the gospel from you if they don't like you. Like, you think people want to hear about Jesus from a person that they don't like, that they hate? Like, why would they want to hear you talk about God when they don't even, the God that you're talking about, they don't even see that type of behavior in your lifestyle? Like, you know what I'm saying? They don't see that type of virtue or character inside of you. So that's why when you talk about certain characteristics that other people should have that you fail to possess, it looks funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, people think that, a lot of messengers think that the reason their message is not being delivered is because there's something wrong with the people that they're talking to. No, maybe it's something wrong with the person delivering it. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe it's something wrong with the style of the person. Like, people just don't want to adapt. They just want to come to the conclusion that everybody else is crazy and it's never you. No accountability. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, so getting back on topic, right? When people say, I don't give a damn about your mental illness, right? They probably mean that shit. And the reason they say that in the first place is because they're getting consumed by the way you behave. Maybe your doctor told you you're bipolar, right? And you feel like you really can't control your anger, and that's real to you. Like, nobody could tell you that that's not real because in your mind, you really can't control your anger. But the thing is, you haven't found a way yet. You know what I'm saying? You haven't found something that works for you at the moment. You know what I mean? Every time something happens that's not to your liking, you impulsively react to it. And you feel like that's how life has to be. Like, you have to react that way, but you don't want to react that way. Like, you don't enjoy having road rage. You don't enjoy people cutting you off in traffic and you spend the next 20 minutes cursing after the person that you just cursed at is long gone off of the road and went a whole different other direction. That person consumes 20 minutes of your life and you cursing at them, and you can't believe that happened. You know what I mean? And this is why most of my podcasts, I talk about how expectation leads to devastation. People are crippled by expectation. And you know why? Because they're not adaptable people. You were made to adapt. You were made to be very adaptable. You know what I'm saying? Like, when things don't happen according to your liking, when you sit there dwelling makes the situation worse than what it is, because now not only something happened that you don't like, but now it's going to consume 1 week of your life, every, 2 weeks of your life, 3 weeks of your life. Isn't it crazy? Like, yo, tell me if you ever, you do something to somebody, right? You offend them in a certain way. You ever had somebody ask you, yo, how come you're always doing that? Why do you always do that? And you're like, yo, what do you mean? Why do I always, I'm not always doing this thing. Like maybe maybe you left the toilet seat up. Your wife's complaining about it, right? Let's say it's that. And she asks you, why do you always do that? And maybe you only left the toilet seat up 3 times this whole year. Like the whole year, it was only 3 times, And she's asking you, why are you always, why it feels like always to her? Because she's so offended by you leaving the fucking toilet seat up that in her mind, she repeats how it shouldn't have happened. Like she's obsessed with saying, man, it shouldn't happen. Like, so every time she thinks about it, do you know that a person, they can't tell the difference between something they vividly imagine and something they're actually experiencing? This is why when you do something 3 times that's offensive, it feels like 3,003 times. If a person repeats that action in their head that many times, it feels like it happened that many times. This is why even though that man only left the toilet seat up 3 different times, it feels like 3,000 times. And that's why she's going to ask her husband, why do you always do that? Because in her mind, it's always happening. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, the crazy thing about that is we know how to use our minds to be negative. If you use that shit to be positive, yo, life is amazing, man. Like, and as quickly as you could think a new thought, you could feel a new emotion. People be like, yo, I can't control how I feel. Like, if you think about the most pleasant memory you've had in your life right now, right? That could change your whole entire mood. You start smiling. You start your physiology changes instantly. As quickly as you could think a new thought, you could feel a new emotion. You know what I mean? And people be like, yo, I can't control my emotions or change them. Your emotions is linked to your mindset, and your mindset dictates the pace of your entire life. You know what I'm saying? Your life is governed by your mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like, before I had this mindset, you know what governed my life? Depression. Because I thought the way depressed people think. I thought like, yo, when shit doesn't go my way, like, I'm gonna just cry about it, and I'm gonna blame other people, and I'm gonna just dwell, and I'm gonna complain, and you know what I'm saying? And that didn't change anything. The only thing that changed, like, some people be like, man, I sure hope life changes. I sure hope that circumstance change, but then you realize, yo, shit's not going to change, and you be like, people be like, yo, I really hope life changes, because if it doesn't, I'm going to be in trouble, and then you're like, you realize it's not going to change. So what does that mean? You're in trouble, but as soon as you change life does change. As soon as you get strong, you stop complaining about people being mean or people being this, or, you become more interested in how can I adapt? How can I adapt to what's happening to me? Because I'm not a victim. You know what I mean? Like, you're not a victim unless you complain for something that happened 10 years ago every day of your life that it happened to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, you think your issues are that, like, you know what I mean? Like, unique. You think other people are not going through shit? Like, we all are, like, the storm is going to come to everybody, to the foolish man and the wise man. Why is it that the foolish man gets consumed by the storm? It's because he takes the storm personally instead of taking his potential personally, instead of taking his relationship with God personally. This is why I won't take you personally, because it's not personal. Even if you act like you're out of your mind when you talk to me, like, you know what I'm saying? It's not about how you're acting. I don't even feel like I have to check you on that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to just talk to you calm, and I'm not going to get consumed by your behavior. Why? Because I'm not alive for you to treat me fairly. I'm not alive for you to be loyal to me, for you to be my friend, for you to do the shit that I think you need to be doing. That's none of that. That has nothing to do with my purpose. And since I'm so purpose orientated, I can't even focus on things that doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was talking to this dude this morning, and he was telling me about, the things that he has, his mental illnesses and stuff, and and like, another thing, that shit, whatever he's going through, it's real to him. I know some people might laugh like, yo, why would somebody cry about not having friends? To somebody, there's somebody in this world where that is hell to them. That is hard to them. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we compare our hell to someone else's hell and be like, oh, you don't know what hell is like. Like, you don't know what it's like to eat. What you know about eating canned food for dinner. And, people have all these other stories. And then another person's like, yo, what do you know about being in Vietnam or dodging bullets or your comrades blowing up next to you? And we try to compare our hell to somebody else's hell, like saying, yo, if you haven't gone through my hell, then you haven't gone through anything. And it's like, yo, the hell that people are, because you have a hell that's specifically designed for you to go through. You know what I'm saying? And that shit is going to be real to you. No one's going to be able to tell you that it's not, because you feel the pain of living in it. You know what I mean? So even though this person there's some people out there that might hear the story. They're going to be like, I don't understand why we desperately need someone to be our friend. Like, that's stupid, you know? But to him, it's not. Like, to him, that's tearing his heart apart. To him, he feels like he can't persevere unless that changes. You know what I mean? But for him to persevere, his mindset has to change. You know what I mean? Like, we can't be so needs driven, you know, we can't be so codependent on someone else being there for us in order for us to be emotionally stable, because it creates a it creates a fake environment. You know what I mean? And once it creates a fake environment, and then we think we're good because circumstance is good, as soon as circumstance is not good, then you're not good. That means you was never good. That means you was placed inside of a fake environment where like things were good, and then slowly but surely things start falling apart. Things are not going your way. People start leaving, and then you're not okay anymore. And then life is a roller coaster ride. It's up and down constantly. And we normalize that shit. We say everybody has bad days. That's why when we have bad days, we accept having bad days, because it's like, well, everyone's going to have them, and that's normal. And it's like, yo, what if it's not, you know? What if you could have a mindset where you never have a bad day? But when I talk like this, people are like, yeah, well, that's super unrealistic. Like, how are you never going to have a bad day? It's because if you don't think bad, then life will never be bad. You know what I'm saying? Life is however you perceive life, that is life to you. You know what I'm saying? If you have happy thoughts, you're a happy person. You have depressed thoughts, you become a depressed person. You know what I mean? We think that depression is circumstance happening a certain way, and then we rationalize other people feeling like that, give them sympathy, give them empathy, right? And then just empower them to stay there, because they're like, oh, we're like, oh, I know what you mean. I know exactly how you feel. Like, I would have reacted the same way. They did what? Like, I would have did this to them if they did that to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then we think that we're helping people by doing that shit. And you're taking people out, like, you know, in an avenue that's completely outside of God's character, and empowering them to stay in a place that has nothing to do with what they could be if they embrace their potential. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much shit we normalize that wasn't meant to be normal. Like, you're not supposed to feel depression every day. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and like, depression sucks, yo. I see no difference between depression and being dead. That's what it feels like, man. Like, to have that shit, because then you got to drag your feet to wake up in the morning. Like, nothing's pleasant anymore. And then your mind gets so cynical every time somebody makes a nice comment towards you, you know, like, you're thankful at first, but then your mind twists it so much to the point that their comment becomes an insult, and now you're offended by something that was meant to lift you up. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy how your mind could make you interpret things in a way that it wasn't meant to be interpreted. Like, take things completely out of context. You know what I'm saying? Because we only see life through the filter of our own understanding, and we're not able to take a step outside of ourselves and realize we don't know everything. We might not know what somebody intended or what they meant when they said certain words. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like I when I scroll through Facebook, I see people who they respond to only the comments that piss them off. Those are the only comments they respond to, other people pissing them off. They wonder why they're so mad. They put so much attention on it. You put attention on people that piss you off, I promise you'll always be pissed off, because like, that's where your focus is. You know why I'm not mad ever? Because I focus on what the hell is my purpose. That's it. You know, and there's nothing that's going to piss me off about me chasing my destiny. You know what I'm saying? Not no adversity, not no obstacle. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and when you don't believe things are possible, all you see is obstacle. But when you believe things are possible, all you see is opportunity. You know what I mean? It's all about how you train your mind to look at life. You know what I mean? And however you look at life becomes the emotions that you feel, because through your perception comes the feeling of life. You know what I'm saying? Like, however you look at things, you'll have an opinion about that, right? And then you'll have an emotion about your opinion on that thing. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, give me a second. Yeah, I know, right? Oh, I see what you're saying right now, Tony. My bad. I'm just reading a couple comments. That's why I paused really quick. Give me a second. Wasted potential is the worst potential. I hear you, bro. What's up, Timothy? Remember, even it's about living and helping others instead of bringing people down. If you give power to it, it will affect you. Absolutely. I hear you, Tony. Yeah, man. Like, I'm not impressed with your Bible's scripture quoting, like, to the religious people out there. They quote it, like, you know, but they're not living it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it means so much more to people when you become what you quote. You know what I mean? I saw, someone recommended, I forgot who recommended, but it was a Joe Rogan show. And it was a guy named David Goggins on his show. And he was talking about people that quote stuff. He was like, yo, do you know the power of what you just quoted? Like, are you living that? Because if you are living that's phenomenal, you know. But he was like, people quote stuff just to quote it, but they don't become what they read. When you become what you read, that's powerful. When you watch powerful content and you become the power that you've seen in that content, and then you become that towards other people, that's powerful. You know what I'm saying? It's it's way better than just quoting stuff and wishing you had a stronger mentality all day. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, this one's probably gonna be short. I'm probably gonna close it like within the next 5 minutes. So, I just want to I want to close this with saying I'm sorry that people are insensitive, unloving, uncaring. It's all about themselves. But that's where all the evil in the world, it comes from one place, like the love of self, man. People are in it for themselves. This is why a lot of people, and I want to tell you another thing, right? Some of you might have heard me say this before, but I remember I was listening to Grant Cardone talk about how poor people are selfish. And I thought that was crazy coming from a rich man, because, us broke ass people, we'd be like, the rich people are selfish, man. They keep their money to themselves. Maybe some of them do. But the thing about rich people is at any moment with the flip of a switch, they could become a generous, kind giving person. And for poor people, like, it's hard to give somebody else $100, especially when every $100 bill you give away, you feel like it's coming out of you. It's taken away from you to give it. You know what I mean? And he was like, the interviewer was like, why do you think poor people are selfish? He was like, because if you ask a poor man, do you want to make money, a lot of money? He'll tell you no. And then this will be his reasoning. He'll say, I don't want a lot because I only need this much for my car payments. I only need this much for my daughter, for my student loans, for my utility bills, for my cell phone bill. I only need this much for me to consume, for me to stay alive. You know what I mean? And he was like, I, like, there you go again, being selfish. Like, I get that you don't need a lot of money, but what about people around you that desperately need it? You know what I'm saying? Like, and he was breaking down how if you have the capabilities of becoming a millionaire, you're selfish if you don't become that, because there's people around you that benefit from you being the best version of yourself. Like, not only just financially, mentally, emotionally, you know what I'm saying? Like, before I was able to do these podcasts, like, I had to take my mental health serious. I had to take certain philosophies serious to change my life just by me embracing a new way of thinking, and now because I think different, I live different, you know what I'm saying? That's the only thing that made me change, and I know a lot of people think that they can't change their mentality, but that's because, they romanticize how long they've been living a certain way. They be like, I've been in pain for like 25 years, and then pain becomes their doctrine. You know what I mean? That's all they know. And they feel like that's all they're ever going to live and experience. And they're going to stay in that place because they keep telling themselves that. And then that's why the next 20 years looks like the last 20 years, and then yesterday becomes tomorrow indefinitely forever. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, people just have no hope, no faith. And wherever we lack faith in that direction, we can't travel forward without the faith that it takes to move forward. Because when there is no faith, you just don't believe. Like, you think you're wasting your time even trying something. This year and next year, millions of people are going to have the power to do a startup company and be very successful at it, but they won't because they have zero faith and they let their pessimistic neighbors talk them out of their greatness. So that's going to be the reason they don't move forward, because they're like, maybe these people are right. Maybe it's going to fail. Maybe that's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And we let other people's voices get into our mind and talk us out of our greatness. And then we don't become what we could have been. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, man. Anyways, please take your mental health serious. Please invest time into books, into audiobooks, into watching content on YouTube that makes you a better person. Because one thing I could tell you for sure, if you're not the person you want to be, if you're not living the life you want to live, entertaining yourself into an oblivion is not going to better your circumstance. You know what I mean? Like, entertainment, it only contains you. You know what I'm saying? It fills your mind with just you passing the time. And as you pass the time, you're going to be the same person, right? You're going to have the same complaints, the same attitude, the same gripes, the same everything. And you're going to wonder, why is life not changing? Life doesn't change because you're not changing. You know what I mean? It is possible to change, to be more positive, to be more, encouraged, to not be discouraged all the time. Because first of all, in order for you to be discouraged, your focus has to be one place, on yourself. It's impossible for you to be discouraged unless you start focusing on yourself and how everything is to your inconvenience and nothing goes your way and everyone hates you and everyone's doing that to you. You're focusing on yourself, and that's why you're being overcome by life. But when you have a mission that transcends beyond you, like when it's about helping other people and becoming a better version of you, not only for your own mental sanity, but like then you get to become the emotional backbone for other people. You get to become the person that other people go to and they say, yo, man, you changed my life. Thank you for doing these podcasts. Thank you for like being kind. Thank you for, you know what I'm saying? Like, the only reason that I have the mental stability to do these podcasts is because I'm not being overcome by life. You know what I'm saying? I'm not complaining every day, you know, because I have gratitude, you know. Gratitude doesn't know how to complain, and complaining doesn't know how to have gratitude. And the only difference between a person with a lot of gratitude and a person that complains constantly is the things that they focus on. Because if you focus on what pisses you off, you're always going to be pissed off. But if you focus on reasons to have gratitude, which I'm sure there's a lot of reasons why you could, you know, you'll always have gratitude, you know. But the thing about life is I can't tell you what those things are that you should be grateful for. You have to find those things. You know, as much energy as you put into complaining about things not going your way is the same energy you could be putting into, man, well, at least I have 2 arms and legs, you know, and eyes, and I could see, and you know what I mean? And I have no disability, and I could walk, and I could run, and I could work out if I feel like it. You know what I'm saying? I seen this one motivational speaker. He has no arms and legs, and he's positive as hell. Like, it's amazing how positive he is given his circumstance. But he's the emotional backbone for so many people, and people see how he has no arms and legs, and he's so happy, and then they have hope for themselves in their own happiness, you know. But that guy had a choice. He was born with no arms and legs. He had a choice. He said, yo, I could dwell. He tried to kill himself when he was like 10 years old, but he was like, you know, he had 2 choices. He could have dwelled on how life didn't go according to his liking, or he could have just embraced his potential. He chose to embrace his potential, and now he's flying around the world, you know, inspiring millions of people to live their best life. You know what I mean? To not take life so personally, to take their relationship with God personally. Because when you take God personally, you don't take people personally anymore. You don't take problems personally anymore. You're not being overcome constantly by things happening to you. You're not a victim to your circumstance. You know what I mean? And now it doesn't mean that things go away, right? But it just means that your focus is different. And I want to end on this last note, right? Create a goal that's really big goal, right? I want you to visualize something. I want you to visualize a small city, and the city has maybe like 4 or 5 skyscrapers total in the whole city, right? The skyscrapers is a metaphor for your goals, right? So when you have massive goals that you focus on, it doesn't mean that shit doesn't still happen. It doesn't mean that things don't, you know what I mean? Like, stuff is still going to happen, right? There's still other buildings surrounding this 4 or 5 skyscrapers, but you know what I mean? You're looking from a certain vantage point that those become the first things that you see. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that there's not other buildings around it, other inconveniences, other things that you probably wish wouldn't happen. You know what I'm saying? But the best mindset to have is, God, how can I abound in all things? How can I have a good mindset, whether you take me up or whether you take me down? Like, you know what I mean? Like Paul said in the Bible, he said, I've been exalted, I've been rejected, I've been embraced, you know, I've been backstabbed. I've been like, all these things have happened to me, but none of that is what makes me who I am. And there's only one thing that I do to stay encouraged. I look forward towards the future. You know what I mean? So he was just always moving forward. He says something along those lines. And so anyways, when you visualize the city and you visualize the 4 or 5 like pillars in it, the 4 or 5 skyscrapers, and you let that be the focus point, that becomes all you focus on, right? And you realize that the skyscrapers are so much bigger than the buildings around it, you know, and let that be a metaphor for the things that you want to accomplish before you die versus everything that's, you know, surrounding that, you know what I mean? And you have something to look up towards, you have something to look forward towards in building whatever it is you want to build, you know. Spend your time becoming the person that you could have been, because it's never too late to become the person you could have been, you know. And once that becomes your focus for real, like, things still will happen. Like, people are still going to be assholes. People are still going to act a certain way. But it's not, your life is not going to be consumed by that, because you're going to realize you're not alive. You're not alive for those things to happen your way. You know, you're alive to fulfill your destiny, whatever that is. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, like, it's not that my problems go away. It's just that my focus is so big, you know, like, the thing that I'm aiming at is so much bigger than the things that are around it, you know. And that's why I'm not discouraged. I'm not sad. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. And just know that the storm is going to come to the foolish man and the wise man. What's up, Iris? So when the storm comes, don't take it personally, because bad stuff is going to happen to everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, if you think you got problems, everybody has something that's going on, you know. But it's not about how many problems do you have. Like, you know, it's about, do you want to overcome, you know what I mean? Or do you want to sit there and dwell and complain about how life is not to your liking? Because the more you do that, the more life is gonna suck. The more, you know what I'm saying? The more you complain about your neighbor being a certain way, like the more that becomes all that you train your mind to focus on. And now all you could see about your neighbor is what messed up qualities that they have. And then when you see a person messed up, you treat them as if they're messed up, and then you make them worse than what they are. And then they'll never know their potential. You know what I'm saying? Because you're being consumed by their behavior instead of being consumed by your personal relationship with God, because he's the one that could change your life forever. You know what I mean? If he could only change the way that you look at other people. Because I promise you, God is not bothered by the people that annoy you, by the people that, you know, are treating you wrong. Like, he sees them for their potential only. That's it. And that's why he has so much grace for people. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, don't take it personal when people be like, they don't care about your mental illness and they don't care about what you're going through. You know, it probably is true, but the reason they say that is because they're tired of however you're acting. You know what I mean? And they don't know how to overcome. They only know how to be consumed. And that's why people are cutting you out of their life. That's why people are getting rid of you, going the other direction. Because the thing about human beings, our love for each other is so limited. We only love each other for as long as we're being stimulated by somebody else. You cut off that stimulation and we question whether or not we love somebody anymore. You know what I mean? This is how 5 years later, people be like, yeah, I don't know if I'm feeling it anymore, man. I don't know if I like you anymore. I don't know if I love you. You know what they're saying? I don't know if you stimulate me anymore the way that you used to. Our love is so whack. It's all about stimulation. You know what I mean? So instead of it being about unconditional love, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of humans don't know how to love unconditionally, and it's for one reason: they're not connected to the source. They're not connected to God. Because if they knew God, they would know how to have that type of love. You know what I'm saying? And last thing, right? The more expectations on other people that you drop and you completely get rid of, the more fulfilled your life is going to be. Because it's impossible for you to be disappointed unless you had an expectation. You know, and usually it might be other people disappointing you. It's because you expect so much from them. You know what I mean? Like, this is a broken world. You know, I expect there to be a lot of broken people. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why there's broken government policies and rules and laws and crooked police officers and all this stuff, man. Like, when the people are broken, everything else that comes out of them is broken. Their policies, you know, everything. Like, so yeah, man, like, just know that if people knew God, that their life would be different and they wouldn't be the person you complain about all the time. They'd be somebody else. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. So I'll leave you with that. And yeah, take care, man. And oh, last thing, right? Coping with your emotions, right? The emotions that you don't want to feel, you're going to have to face that shit at some point. You know, I mean, you might take a pill from your doctor and try to, like, you know, but ultimately you have to deal with the qualities you have that's destroying your life, the mentality you have that's destroying your life. You know what I mean? Because pills could only do so much. You're going to have to dive into that bag of shit that is your personality and subtract from it the things that you don't want to be there, and then add to it the things that you want to be there. Because that's what changes your life, is becoming somebody you admire. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, man. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy. You know what I mean? Because it's part of the podcast where people be like, oh yeah, but you make it sound easy. It's not about easy. It's about, is it worth your time? Is it worth your time if you learn how to not complain, if you learn how to not be overcome by other people? Because everything that's worth your time is worth putting in the work for it. If it is worth your time, people gravitate towards easy so much. And if it's easy, they'll do it. And if it's difficult, they run away. It shows that they don't really want it. You know what I mean? Like, everything that's worth your time is supposed to be difficult. You know what I'm saying? People, it's like asking, yo, is it hard to get into heaven? Is it hard to, like, when you die, to go to heaven? It doesn't matter. Like, do you want to go to heaven? You know what I'm saying? Are you willing to put in do whatever it takes to get there? Because when that becomes your answer, like, yeah, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, it's no longer about difficulty level. You know what I'm saying? It's about, what do I want? So start asking yourself, what do I want? Instead of obsessing over how hard it's going to be to get that. Like, if you've been smoking for 35 years, it's supposed to be hard to quit. It's not about how hard it is. Do you want to quit smoking cigarettes? Do you want to go a 36 year, 37 year? You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, man, ask yourself, is it worth your time? Instead of, is it hard or is it easy? Because that doesn't matter. It's all about, what do you want? What do you want to experience? What do you want to feel? You know? So anyways, so I'm out, and I'll see you on the next one, man. Take care.